דיבר מוישה ובני ישראל, ככל אשר ציווה השם עושי עליהם. Everything that the Rebbeinu Shalom told him to tell them, that's what he told them. Basically, what it's telling you, that it's every shtickle musel that the Rebbeinu Shalom told Klal, that Moshe Rabbeinu told Klal Yisrael, the Rebbeinu Shalom told him to tell him that musel. So therefore now it's important for us to understand why the Rebbeinu Shalom told him that musel. I can't help you in the beginning. Right in the beginning you have the whole shtickle musel. Rashi gives you a whole seder to it. Targum gives you a different seder to it. According to each one, you would have to think out what is the chomer lakal or kal lachomer that he's trying to teach me, and you find that they both agree that the Rebbeinu Shalom told them about the egel. But only Rashi mentions Baal Pearl. I mean, according to Targum, Baal Pearl was maybe not even such a big zach. Now, Chas v'Chalil will say it wasn't a big zach. 200,000 Jews got killed because of it. So obviously it was a terrible Aveira. But it's an Aveira maybe that's understandable. It's an Aveira that's told in Yetzirah, as opposed to the Egel, it was not told in Yetzirah. You know, it's a bad word to say the Rebbeinu Shalom's understanding. The Rebbeinu Shalom's not understanding. He gave you a mitzvah, he expects you to keep it. But we do see that there's Gimel Chamuris, right? But think of the Averas, the Onshim that are involved. Avodah Zorah is Skila. Retzicha is Hereg. And Arayis is Chenek. So you have three different levels of Onshim. And we say we know the klal, but lavin, that you know if the chomer ha'inish, you know the chomer hisel. So the chomer, these two isurim, hereg is less than Avodah Zorah, and arayis is less than hereg, than killing. Okay. Does that mean that it's easier? There's no more Yad Vayava because of that? No. It's all Yad Vayava. You're still not allowed to do it. It's not the issue. But the issue, the Menschen versteht. And he gave Yitzholzen to the people, and he hears where they come from. So if that's all they're dealing with, among Taiva, I don't know. Maybe it's easier. But Machshov is a lot worse. And that's the things you got to remember.
Recording in progress.
B'tochen in HaKadosh Baruch Hu with an ikel. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into what they are, but there's something for you to think about. There's a lot to think about over there. It's Eva Yalde after he killed the two, what do you call it? The Oig and Sichon. And that's because, like, what have you done for me lately? Moshe Rabbeinu also had to think that way. In other words, before you give Musa, you got to have some reason why they want to accept it. So he told them, Achei HaKoisei, look what I did for you. Now you can hear. I'm doing this for your benefit. I'm not doing it because it's what I feel I want. He also gave a Musa Kov L'misosei. When you die, you know I mean it. I didn't give you Musa till now. I could have given you Musa all the time. I didn't do it. Because I didn't know how you'll accept it. You may think, it's noch a shmuz, noch a shmuz. It's not a shmuz. I'm dying. I'm giving you over the important things for life, for you to know what's important. That's what he's telling. Now we can go. Very interesting pasuk here. Rei nosati lefneichem es haaretz. Boyu rishu es haaretz asher nishba neshem laveseichem lavom liyitzchak liYaakov losis lohem ulezarom achareihem. One of the things that we know that Tchias HaMeisim in Torah is because the Gemara God brings a different pasuk, but it's the same message. The message is Lochem lo iksiv, lohem ksiv. But the Rabbeinu Shalom promised the others to give to them, not he promised you, promised them to give to you. He promised them to give to them. And therefore, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov did not get the land yet. Right? That's the reason that we didn't go in. We went down to only 210 years in Mitzrayim instead of 400 years, because we started counting from the birth of Yitzchak, from the land that we were now. We were in Eretz Canaan at that time. Right? If you counted that the land was given to Avram, then it's counted from that time. Then it could be. You have 210 years when he went down, until Ya'akov went down, which is a long time later, when he's only 190 years to go. So anyway, so we counted from Yitzchak was an important point. So that's the big Gadash. But it says here a very interesting thing. Ulezarom achareihem. Now what does that mean? That means by Tchias HaMeisim, Avram Avinu is going to inherit all the land. Do we own anything at that time? No. If Avram's alive, what do we own? We own nothing. Right? Yitzchak doesn't own anything until Avram dies. And Yaakov doesn't own anything until Yitzchak dies. And who are then the Shvatim? So how's it work? Do we have to die again? Is that the point to Tchias HaMeisim, that we die again? B'chayre not. It doesn't need that. It seems that from the Gemara that you can go from Mashiach, Tchias HaMeisim, Olam Haba. Just walk through. You don't have to die yet. Whatever it is, that means you lived enough in this world, you pass into Olam Haba. Okay, you had this world, but you didn't die. What that means and how it works, I don't know. That's not negated to us. We'll find out. But the shaila is, what is the purpose? And how long is Tchias HaMeisim going to take, according to what I just told you? Tchias HaMeisim is a 1 minute thing. all of a sudden we're alive, and then we have Olam Haba, or it's going to be for hundreds of years, for thousands of years. Now, according to the cheshbonos that we don't know too much. That's obvious. So, the world's supposed to end in 6,000. According to the Ramban, it's supposed to end in 18 years from now. I hope you're all ready. I'm not kidding around. That's what the Ramban holds. The year 5800, it will end. Okay? But what happens after that? When does Chiyas HaMesim take place? After 6,000 years? We'll start off Olam Haba with Olam Hazeh. We'll go back into Olam Haba. Okay. I say I have no idea. But what do you think? Since I don't understand, and the Rebbeinu Shem made Olam Haba, so there must be some very important lesson that we have to learn from it. This is what I think it is. This is my opinion. You can have different opinions. My opinion is that it's really unfair. The Der, I don't want to say the Der HaMabel, I mean the Der HaMidbar, of course they all died out in the Shiloh, if they have Olam Haba or not, that's Machlekes. Aber the Der Early Horetz, and assuming they were 19 years old when they went out of Mitzrayim. So the guy saw Mitzrayim, he saw the Nisim Alayom, he saw Matan Torah, right? He saw the whole 40 years in the Midbar, and he came to Eretz Yisrael. And he had a Beis HaMikdash. That guy is, it was very easy for him to be from. He saw the greatest glories of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he saw them, so how is he can't be a kaifer. It's impossible for him to be a kaifer. So it's unfair. We're born in a Golas. In a Teifer, the place where everything is so treif. And the things there, and they're asking us to be as good as them. How could it be? So I'll give you a moshel with a teacher's pet. You understand? First of all, the Gemara in Ksubis says that Chiyas HaMesim is only for B'nai Torah, for people who are Mahanidim, not for people who are Tzadikim. They have to be B'nai Torah and people who are Mahanidim. Nobody else gets in another Mabba. So again, what does that mean? So I think that, you have a teacher that has a student that gets always 100. One time he got an 80. It's not my student. Something's wrong. Got to ask him what's the matter. Go over to the kid, says to him, like what happened? How come you didn't get 100? He says, well, I didn't get a chance to study. My mother's in the hospital, my father lost his job, and I had a lot of things to do in the house, and I wasn't able to study. Oh. And what's the matzav now in the house? Well, Baruch Hashem, my father just got a new job, and my mother's home. Okay, do you think if I gave you next week a retest, do you think you can take it? Sure. Takes the retest and gets 100. Which mark was on the report card? The 100. The same thing with his pets. His pets are the B'nai Torah. You guys are learning Torah, I'm going to give you another shot at it. You claim that it was unfair, okay, I'm going to put you in a time without Shibud Goliath, without the Yansi Yitzhak of the world, with a Beis HaMikdash, and let's see how you produce. And you got a chance for the 100. That's what the base, that's what I believe is what the time of Chiyas HaMesim is. Otherwise, I really don't know. Now, it's an interesting thing in Numbers here. Moshe Rabbeinu gives a bracha to Klal Yisrael. Right, and Shem Lekeichem here be'eschem hincha Hashem and got to Kerash Shemanga. Shem Lekeichem is here Yes Valechem Kachem 1000 Pa'omim Yivachesem Kasher Biber Lachem. I'm giving you 1,000 times, and the Reina Shalom will give you whatever he wants to give you. What does that mean? I'm giving you 1,000 times. You can't give a bracha that you don't believe in, that you don't understand. You can't give such a bracha. You have to be able to understand it. Moshe Rabbeinu can understand 1,000 times 600,000 or 1,000 times 4 million, and you'll figure out what that is, about 4 trillion, whatever it is there. But that's what he can understand. I can't understand a million. I have no problem. But he can understand it. But the Rebbeinu will give you what he promised you. And that's who knows what. About this much, I'm giving you a bracha for myself. Okay. Now he goes right there, the Rebbeinu as gives them, he tells them, I made people like for Dayanim, and I gave them laws that they have to judge. Finish l'chaveirei, l'sakiru ponim, kakot and kagodl tishmon. There's no such thing as $1 or $1 million. It's gezel. We were done on the same thing. There's no petty larceny and grand larceny. It's all one zach. You want to see what I mean by that? If you have 2 larcenies, then all of a sudden that means petty larceny is not so bad, right? So it's shaykh for a DA to come along and say not only is it not so bad, it's bamish not criminal if you steal less than whatever petty larceny is. Except why? Because it's a reallocation of assets. It has nothing to do with stealing. There is no crime. I'm just taking money from you and giving it to me. And therefore reallocated the assets that exist in the world. And I have more than I had before. You have less than you had before. And both of us now get along fine. And that is exactly what's going on in New York, in California, in Los Angeles. It went on in San Francisco, and surprisingly throughout the DA. The thing that they throw it on in those states, in those cities. Probably Chicago, probably Detroit, probably all the big cities as we call it. Okay. Not in Staten Island. It's an important thing. We're Republican. Everything else is Democrat. But he's a Democratic DA, but he's really a Republican. Don't be afraid of anyone. Because justice belongs to God. Now, normally the way I just read the pasuk to you, you would think that the Torah is telling you, don't mess around with justice. Justice belongs to me. That's not what Rashi says. Whatever you took from this guy, you're forcing me to repay him. You threw justice on me. So you're telling me that it's impossible to cheat anybody in the world. The Rebbeinu Shalom will make sure that you cannot cheat anybody in the world. If that's the case, why do I have to put myself on the line? Why does the Rebbeinu Shalom want me to make enemies with all my boss, my someone, between my boss and someone else? and you're forcing me to pass it like the din, which is the other guy against my boss, and I'm getting fired tomorrow because of that. And why don't you let me pass it like my boss? It doesn't make a difference anyway. You'll give the guy back the money. So what difference? It's not up to you to do justice and who's right and who's going to make the money. Don't think you're doing anything, Rabbi said. You're not doing anything. All you're doing is teaching. You're doing what's right. I'm doing what the din is. That's all that I'm supposed to do. After that, what works, who makes it work, how does it work, that's not my business. And I'm not involved. And that's the part you have to remember. It's not you, it's the Rabbeinu Shalom. And he does everything. They say he chazes over a lot of the stuff that happened. And he chazes over the Meragim. And you can see that the Moshe Rabbeinu's, it's hard to say chet, but in a way chet, why he deserves to die. Says, I teach when I like Kulchem, and you wanted me to send people. And what should they do? How we should be invaded. Which cities should we attack? Okay? And I like what you said. Right? And he really knew what they wanted. He really knew. They wanted to see what kind of land they were going to get in here. You know? And he made a mistake. Rashi brings this down before. Shlach. He made a mistake. What was his mistake? He thought, like, you know, if you have you want to buy a used car, I want to take it to my mechanic. Go ahead. I want to get it checked out by go ahead. All the go-aheads, after going ahead, it's probably all good perfectly, I buy it, you right off the bat, and it's like, well, you don't have to go to anybody, right? Why? Because you agreed that you like to go anybody. So you thought the same thing. I'll agree, you want to go to El you want to take a look at the land, you want to go see, but fine. But they never suggested that. Never. Now let's see what he told them to do in Parshas Shlach. He says, וישלח מוישה לוסו אסר צקנם ויאמר להם עלו זה בנגב על ישמסור וישם אסורץ מהי. What kind of land is this? ואסור מה ישב עליה חוזק כבר רוב אמרתי ימרוב. See the population. What do I want to see the population for? I'm killing them all out. That did. מו האורץ אשר ישב בו הטוי והיא ימרוב. The land is good enough. What do you care? I told you it's good. What are you going to look if it's good? Right? More אשר יש בהן המחמים מצורים, או זה שמנו היא עם רוזו, היש בו עץ. Why am I inviting, checking up on the land? The land God told me was fine. Good. I never saw a tree in my life, so what difference does it make? Right? But I gave them the possibility. I want them to look, so they'll see how beautiful it is. But by the fact that I told them to look, means we have the shus. It's up to us. It came up to us, and they didn't do it. And because of that, it says Taki in here, Vayishma Hashem is, what he called, Gam bi sanaf Hashem b'glalchem leima gamatu le'sov yishom. You also not being there. because of the same chet. Because we goofed, we messed up, but you caused the mess up, so you're not born either. Moshe Rabbeinu. Now the shaila is, so why do we need no story with hitting the rock and all that stuff? So why was that necessary? If you're not going because of meraglim, so what's the difference? There's a chilik. The Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't want me to go because of the chet I did with the meraglim, but I didn't do a chet. There was nothing that I did. Side cause, really that I caused it. If they look at it, Yami, Roma, why do I cause it? Can't kill you for that. Got to find something to kill you for. That's what he had with the water. And there was Stam, he picked on me. Moshe Rabbeinu. So again, whatever that means. Interesting pasuk here. V'so'om tzav leimor atem oivrim b'gvul achechem b'nei Esav. You're going in the border of your brothers, Esav. Esav and me? I got no shaykhs one to the other. Why are you mentioning Esav as my brother? As far as I'm concerned, he's the first guy away from me. No, he isn't. He's your brother. In fact, not only is he your brother, he's your twin brother. You are all the tchunas hanefesh that he has, you have. I don't know if you ever heard of Murder Incorporated. But this was the mafia, the murder arm of the mafia. They were all Jews. The murder arm of the mafia were all Jews. I didn't say the stealing arm of the mafia. I didn't say the fooling arm of the mafia. The murdering arm of the mafia. Murder Incorporated. Okay. Yeah, the Russian mafia is now what they call the Israeli mafia. All that thing there. But they come with what all mafia means is that you're an organization that goes with chizuk to try and rob the people. And they do. And we also know where the Ashab Amim, with the Mechutzofim, we got the good rotten midas that everybody else got. But we learned Torah. And because we learn Torah, we soften ourselves. And we turn these midas to the outside instead of inside. And by that, all of a sudden, they become good. And that's how the point of the midas are. But you got to remember who you are. Don't think you're better than anybody else. The Torah makes us better, but we're not better. That is a very interesting thing here. It tells us you're passing in the part of Esav, and part of Ammon, Noyav, and all of them captured their countries from strong persons. He carried it from the Chayri, the Esav, the others carried it from the Refoyim, called them Zamzumim or Amim, it doesn't make a difference, but they're all Refoyim. And And it tells you, the weaker one is this one, because here they stick in people we don't even know who they are. So it says, the Eretz referring, or you'd say, Dabei Shem Omesh, Ata Oeva Yemis Vumoya Vesor Vekrafto Bel Bnei Ammon. Now to Tzurem, don't cause them any trouble. They are the ones, Ki Ammon L'cho Yerusha, Ki Relate Nesat Yerusha. Eretz, the Choshev, Avhem Hiyal Seforim, okay, they call them Zamzumim. And they're just as strong as the Chayri was, which Esau destroyed. Vayesh V'tachtu, Kasho Osa Levnei Esau, Vayesh V'Neseyah. And also Ha'avim, who are they? Where they come into play? Who cares? Why are you telling me this thing? I want to tell you something. I'm in a moyav. Hita b'sichon. I gave it Yerusha to Light. Belongs to Light. No one else is allowed to take it. Came along Sichon and took it. We can come along and take it now. How did Sichon take it? Let him take it. That's how he took it. And now you're allowed to take it. So what is the purpose of trying to tell you? I promise you the land also. How long do you think you're going to stay there? Because I promised you, do you think it belongs to you? No. You do bad, you're going to get kicked out. I don't know you nothing. And in Emerson Kachave, we know that the first, that Kibush Rishon is Kivshel L'Shaita V'Leidus L'Asid Lovei, or B'Shniya was Kivshel L'Shaita L'Ula Asid Lovei. That means what Koresh gave, a present to us, that's forever. And what the Rabbeinu Shalom gave us coming out of Mitzrayim was only, who knows what? Why? You know, same Gedalia. Okay, it's a fast right after Rosh Hashanah. Inconvenient time, but it comes up there and you're fasting. Right, you're doing tshuva anyway, so you might as well know Chataris. Okay. Why are we fasting? What happened? Gedalia was the time that every Jew left Eretz Yisrael. Because when they killed him, everybody got so frightened that Nebuchadnezzar is going to come down and wipe everybody out. They all left. And when they all left, you're gone. No more Jews. It's over. That's why we cried. After that, when we came back, the Jews were always there. In fact, the Dvar Eretz Yisrael does not produce when the Yidden are not there. It only produces when we're there. Take a look at what Eretz Yisrael was when the what do you call it, the Tzionim came up in the 1880s, tried to do it. They had swamps and all those things. Now it's the most glorious land. Now you can go out, go plant there no matter what. In the Second World War, they had a white paper that more than 50,000 Jews can't come into Eretz Yisrael. So very nice people, the British, very nice, right? The Party Allies, great, wonderful people, put the Jews into concentration camps in Cyprus. used to capture them on the boats, and they just put them into concentration camps, like the Nazis did, except they didn't kill us. Okay, that was a white paper because Eretz Yisrael can't produce more than 50,000 people. When I was in Eretz Yisrael the first time in 1974, I was speaking with my brother-in-law, who was a shtickle scientist, Rabbi Tendler, and we remember we were by Nabi Shmuel, Shmuel Navi means, over there by his kever. And we were talking about, I said, we were going through the whole land, and it was empty. I said, I don't understand. Look at all this empty land that we have. Why? How much can Eretz Yisrael now could hold? 30 million people at that time. Okay? And now, on Shiur, they have the technology, and the word technology maybe is lesser, because they have the technology to be able to produce in every makolet. Guys know what makolet is? That's the grocery store. Okay? They have a lift. That's one of these things on a truck, the empty trucks that they pick up, the containers. One of those can grow overnight whatever the guy has to sell in the store during the day. All the tomatoes, the fruits, vegetables, everything you can think of. And that's why all is back in business. Because now we can have all. And they can do it. And the God did in Eretz Yisrael, they didn't use it, this technology, because it would put all the farmers out of business. So therefore they do it. But if you want to have a little idea of what it is, if you go down in the south, the Winn-Dixie supermarkets, then you go into their fruit and vegetables section, and you pick your fruit off the tree, if you want. They use that technology. So anyway, so since then, Eretz Yisrael, the Jews didn't leave Eretz Yisrael. It's not so poshut what would be if we left part of Eretz Yisrael, what would be if we would trade land for peace, what would be the halachas. I'm not getting involved in these things, but these are the shaylas that exist. Did you give it away? Was it taken from you? Is it shadis? We're only waiting to take it back. You understand? You guys know what an aveda is, right? You know about Metzi Avuda Mimena Mikolodo, right? That's an aveda, that's hefker. Everyone's allowed to take it. I had a $20 bill, and something here just flew out of my hand. And I see it. I'm waiting under here, waiting for the wind to stop blowing a little, so it'll fall down, I'll get it. Is that considered the hefker? Because Avuda Mimena Mikolodo. I cannot get it now. Nobody in the world can get it now. Is it now hefker? Or is it mine? As long as it's mine, as long as I can see a way of getting it back, and there's no yish on it, then it's mine. It's still mine. So if a guy gives me grabs something out of my hand and I scream police, and the cop stops the guy, I don't expect I lost the stuff yet. That's not yish. Not out of my hand yet. That's the thing here. The Haftarah is a little bit, because it's called Chazay Yeshaya on the Haftarah. Now, to understand Yeshaya Navi, if you take a look, all the Haftarahs and Devarim, except for Chazay HaBrocha, are Yeshaya. And they're all about the Zayin and the Chamta, the Gimel of the Churban. He talks about these things. He's a Navi in the middle of the Malchus Bestobel. He's in Chizkiyahu's time. He's before Chizkiyahu's. Chizkiyahu's the last Malchus. really Menashe, whatever, but there's 3 Malachim before him that he was king by, that he was a Navi by. That's Mamish in the middle. So why does he know about the Churban? Because the Churban happened in his time. What do you mean the Churban happened in his time? Sancherev invaded in his time. Sancherev destroyed Malchus Yisrael. Sancherev captured all of Eretz Yisrael except for Yerushalayim. And all the people wanted the goals and everything else. And he saw it all. And the people saw it all. And he saw what Tshuva can do. That you can do Tshuva and all of a sudden the whole army is wiped out in one night. And the thing there, so he saw all of these things. And that's why he's the Navi of the Tshuva and the Churban. Yirmiyahu is of the Churban. But Yeshaya is when we talk about the Torahs, he knew the Torah. He knew the Mamish, the Torahs of the Churban. But he also saw the glory of redemption. And that's why he's the one we go to. And he tries to explain to us, he's a little tougher than, what am I going to say, than Stamanovi. I don't know why he was. Don't forget, in the way maybe he came, he was also from the Malchus. He was a cousin to the Melech. So from Yehuda, Matzia, and Omatz were brothers. Matzia was a Melech Yehuda, so he was a prince. So maybe he talked tougher, I don't know. And then Melech talks tougher. But he spoke tough language. And he explained himself very well. We don't know who feeds us. The behemoth knows. The Benishon feeds us. What are you talking about? I bought everything from the grocery store. Why is the Benishon coming to this? He gave me the money to buy it. I worked hard for my money. Let's like up. No, God gave me the money. You see there? And we forget, God gave me the money. It wasn't you. You didn't do a thing. The Benishon gave you the money. And that's what a korban is. You know, it's very easy to say, everything I have is from the Benishon. I just said it, right? Very easy. How do I feel about it? So the korban oila tells you how you feel about it. What do? I'm bringing a korban, which I'm trying to show. What am I going to do? I'm going to waste everything in the korban. This is a $1,000 korban, a $10,000 korban. It was a very expensive ox, right? It was one that was able to produce with a working oxen, you know, whatever it is. That's why you pay for the zera of the oxen and everything else there, because they're able to produce. Father ox is a big ox. Costs $10,000. And nobody has a noif. Every other korban, whether it's a chatas, a noshem, shlamim, everything that can be eaten halachically is eaten by the kohanim, by Israelim, by somebody. But it's eaten, it's not wasted. On oila, it's wasted, completely wasted. It goes on the mizbeach, nobody has a noif from it except for the skin of the oila. It's the only thing you ever make. And I think that the reason that that's done is because you're making a commitment at that time by saying everything I have is min hashamayim. And you see, I just wasted something of worth $10,000 or $1,000 or whatever. But I believe 100% if the Rebbeinu wants me to have it, he will give it to me back. I will have it again. And if, while the shechting is behemoth, you feel, ooh, there goes $10,000, you just flunked the test. But with a meiser, you know better what you really feel. Words don't mean anything. But a meiser makes you feel, makes you know what I mean. I tell people that this is negei amos, when you have to make a very difficult decision. And you always think, to me it makes no difference, but I don't know what's the right thing to do. Right? So I said, okay, flip a coin. Flip a coin on such an important decision. Bring it on the tully and on the coin. Yeah. You want to know what you hold? You'll find out by flipping your coin. You just told me it doesn't make a difference to you, right? Flip a coin, you'll find out. Falls out on tails and says, ooh, I wish you would have filled it out of heads. Now you knew what you really wanted. So do it. Don't make a difference, do the tails. But that's what you learn about yourself. When somebody said, all of a sudden, I can't fool myself anymore. It comes out whether I like it or not. It jumps out at me. Oy vey, it costs me the money. So we have one problem though. If I flunked, it's not a cover. So that's, we have one mile. So here's the first lesson, korbanos. Odom wrote korbanos. Kein Hevel wrote korbanos. What was their korban? You put it down, and the Rebbeinu Shalom took it, took it with a fire, took it with what? I have no idea, but it disappeared from where it was. And by being disappeared, you know the Rebbeinu Shalom was mikabel the korban as a korban. Noach came along, and he made a fire, and he was makeh korbanos, and he made a reach nichoyach that the Rebbeinu Shalom was forced to smell. Don't ask me what that means. But he made a reach vayorach Hashem es reach hanichoyach. The Rebbeinu Shalom smelled it. Who made it? Noach made it. So now you have a new type of a korban. A korban that the person has to make it into a reach nichoyach. It's a very hard thing to do. So the Rebbeinu Shalom made by us, he made a fire come down on the Mizbeach, and now everything is reach nechoyach that goes on to the Mizbeach. So therefore this oila, it was really puzzled, but it's a trial. You want to try and get yourself to be able to get to that madrege. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, try again. I'll be mekabel all your trials as korbanos. You guys are interested. It's very possible that from Noach until the Akedah, there was no korban. You know how many years that is? Right? What's my raya? It's a Rashi. Parshas Balak. Sheva HaMizbachos. He built 7 mizbeachs. Balak, right? He brought up a korban on each one. right? Tooth karbonis. Shiva mizbeach orachti, ein ksiv kan, el es shiva hamizbechos. Omar lefonov, aviseim shel elu, bonu lefonecha shiva mizbechos. They built 7 mizbeachs. V'ani orachti keneged kulom. All right, Avram bona abo, and whatever it is, there goes the thing there, and v'al po v'ayel b'mizbeach. The Avraham lo holo elo ayel echod. He built 4 mizbeachs and he only bought 1 ayel. Yeah, because the mizbeach has nothing to do with korbanos. A mizbeach has to do with who you are. I build a mizbeach because a mizbeach shows growth. I want growth. A matzeva shows I'm happy with who I am. I'm stopped. I don't need more than I am. Mizbeach says, no, I need no chaston. It's just an identification of who I am. Oh, but what do? You use this, what you say, who you are. You build the korbanos on it if you want to bring korbanos. But we don't want to bring korbanos. And I want to tell you, why didn't he bring korbanos? Because he wasn't sure what the tzivah was. In other words, he brought the fire with him. Because maybe I got to bring the korban. On the other hand, the Rebbeinu Shalom told me who the korban was, that he wants the korban. So if he wants the korban, I don't have to do anything. So I don't know what to do. That's what he did. Yeah. There's something to think about. Okay. Anyway, he comes to tell us that they were called Romes Chatzeirai. Now you bring me big presents. Comes Yontif, you bring me hundreds and hundreds of behemoths. Fantastic, thousands of behemoths. You guys, mamish, yeah, but you don't mean it. Not one of them was a commitment. Not one of them did you tell me that you would say that I gave it to you. You're giving me. You want to give me a matone. Aye, eventually we want to make you fleecy. Cool. What are you going to give me good? Here's a fat cow. What am I going to do with the fat cow? I don't eat, right? Pension doesn't eat. I don't smell. So what do you need the reach and the choyach over here for? What are you going to give me this behemoth for? Oh, you wanted it. If you want to follow what I wanted, then you would do what the rules are. You would understand that it's a commitment on your part. It's not just that you brought me korbanos. It's something that you showed me that you're my eved. You want to do my rotzen. You care about what I'm telling you. That's what he's trying to tell him. I don't need all these things. They're not the things. I don't need it from you. Yeah. And then Mele, you know, all of these things are ketevas and all the things, and even the davening is false. Now, in davening, I'm just trying to figure out what it means false. I would think that in davening, somehow, we don't relate to the Rebbeinu Shalom. What do you think is happening when you're davening? Most of the time, he buys a fakis. I'm not talking about Chacham and Shivim and things. But watch kids if you want. Right? They just got bar mitzvah. I'm not talking about Yechidim, I don't know about anyone specifically, but watch them anyway. And they shuckling, mostly can shuckle, checking if the other guys are finished yet. And what do you call it? And if they're finished, then he can move back. If they're not finished yet, he turns back again and shuckles some more, and checkers on this side a little bit, see if they're finished over here. That's davening. That's asking God for something. That's what it means. We have to go on to the point of when you're davening, you're asking God for all your needs. We do this 3 times a day. It's not wasted. We have to mean it. You can keep quiet today, but just translate the words even. Forget about the kavonis. Translate the words also gives kavonis. Because at least you know what you're talking about, who you're talking to. But if you forget about that, you don't look into that, so what are you davening for? To who are you davening? What does it mean? I'll tell you when you saw them. I'll stop here because our choice is a few minutes before 1, and I don't know when. Okay. But there's, the Shiva once gave an explanation of why we say Psukkah is in. Now, you may have heard in modern schools, I would call them treifa schools, because they didn't teach the kids anything about relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But they don't like any gods that love praise, because then God is a fake. All he wants is praise. What kind of God is that? Right? So they don't want to daven. Why? Because you say Hallelujah, right? You say all in Hoidu, you say ganze Sachen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shvach Oidoit HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't like that. These are these very modern kids. Everybody's equal. Us and gods, we're all equal. Don't make a difference. But it's a false idea. You know why you're mentioning all these things that God does? And you give him praise too, because that's what David presented it? Because I know what God does in this world. I know how he takes care of every little item in the world at Shaykh. How he feeds every animal that's Shaykh to be fed, that needs to be fed. And that's the thing there. And I see that he runs the world. He has the suns and the moons and all the other things that he has. Now I need money. I need supper. I need this. Go ask him. Look what he takes care of. Ask him now for what you need. That's why you have Sukkah, to tell you that you have a right to ask for whatever you need. Because that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom does. That's the one. We have our witness Shabbos, and it should be. But we still have a chance that we're not going to fast. Let's hope on that.